And there's a chart on this page. Now, first I'm going to read, I'm just going to lay out the chart for us so that we can kind of take a look at it. And then I'm going to go back one page to note number Aleph. And what I'm thinking is like, what we're getting into an area of Kabbalah where it's not exactly determined exactly what it is. So let's look over here. Let's do it like this. So first we have the Abba side, and the Abba side shows the 4 lines. Can we agree on that? And then you have on the right side, you have a thing called Kodem Achilif and Achar Achilif. So he says that just in Abba, and basically it's similar in Ima, but let's talk Abba. So Abba, he contained in his Netzachot Yisod, he has the following mochin. He has the ma, the ma, and the ma, and the ma, the ma. That's the right side is double mas. That's Kodem, that's the way it was. Then he says you move over to the left side and they're bends. The first word would be ben de ma and the ben de ma and the ben de ma. Both are ben de ma. Now I'm not sure exactly that's the way we saw it before, but here's what he says now. Going down one more, he says Achar Achilif, still ma de ma, ma de ma, but now it's ma de ben and ma de ben. That's what he says. That's the Abba thing. So it's still maz. In other words, the dominant word here, or the modern moach, is the moach of ma. Now the other side, looking at that same thing, we're looking at Ima. So after the hilach, Ela starts with her. She's a ben all across the top. So it's ben de ma or ben de ma because those are the 2 right sides of Ima. And they're going to end up being bends, but they have ma aspects to them. And then when you get to the middle, left, then it's all going to be pure ben. That's what he says here. A problem that I had with this is that I thought that we'd learned, I spent some time looking at it, that the operant, which is, I'm saying it's the dominant, what is the ma, the ben, and what we're talking about, is going to be the last one, not the first one. But here it's going to be the first one. In other words, look at Abba. Abba's all ma's across the top. Then it could be ma's on the bottom or ben's on the bottom. And the ima is going to be ben's across the top and ma at the bottom and a couple of bens. So that's opposite of the way that I think that I spent some time looking at it the last time, and everything that you end up after the chiluf was where the ma's were on the bottom. Everything was like an adjective onto a ma. Or the bends were on the bottom and everything went to the bends. Here they're on the top. Now let's come over here. A little just, like getting into, because what we're looking at is trying to figure out the aspects that we need to know for the Kadshaos, which is contained, I think, for the most part, in the next siman. So now look at this note down below. There's different contradictions, right? In some places, where are we? Is it the kodem achilif choya abba kolo mama dema u ben dema? That's what he was before. In other words, the ma's are the last part. Ve'ima cholula b'ma de ben u ben de ben. That's the way that we talk about it now. But there's another place, the Kodem Achilov, Abba Kola B'ma Dema Uma de Ben. V'ima Kolula me Ben de Ben, Kolula me Ben Dema Umi Ben de Ben. Umamela the Fizel Achra Achilov. So that's the case. Then switch them. So everything, if you switch them, you can switch them around. And everything will be called to the second shita, called the mechila. That is, called the mechila could be after the chila. Umarchu atzmo, his stavek bezeh, he's not really sure about it. In Shaar Yudal, Perik Dalet, he says, v'is richu bezeh. So a lot of people talk about this as the problem that it doesn't go together 100%, or that they're complete stira. But the Maisa Neked the Rishash, so it comes out like this. What does the Rishash says? This is the value. Look at the Rishash because the Kabbalists really admire the Rishash and his opinions. So he says that according to him, because Kaseder Harishon Hanizgar. V'avakach parashnu alamala. So we explain this like up above. He says it goes the other way around. That's the one where the operant is going to be the last one. And that's going to bend the ma, the bend the ma, and all of these things will be mas. So there's going to be lots of changes according to which way you think which came first or which came first. Yeah. V'zera v'gorem laharvech ha'gochos shehigirim b'farsha b'divrei Rav lihis amo kol lihis halas imo kol emes l'shitato kol echad l'shitazo. Now, so what happened here? I'm not sure how well I explained this or how well it gathered by you or any listener, but the basic idea is that it's kind of a soft area. We don't really know exactly because you have contradictions, and that's part of what goes on over in this what we're looking at now in these MILUIM. They're bringing to light all the different things, different ways of looking at things, and try to do the best we can. So let's go over here. Number base. He says like this: Seder Chatikun de Zun. So we want to talk about the Seder of the Tikun of Zun. So that's a good thing to know, because what he's going to do is, if we can understand it, is he's going to explain in simpler terms, I think, some things that we need to have organized and understand. So he says, until the time that when they came out and they make a yichud, confusion is boyer b'kitzara b'eitzchaim. He says it's Shaar Kof Perektas. So he says, v'zun kululim called echad mishnei partzufim. Now something that we have to have straight and understand. Partzuf ach u partzuf panim. It's easy enough just to know that fact. But as they first come out, omdim zu ach ba'ach. And we know this. We're familiar with that idea. So he said, v'chazal hu ben vok bilvad. She's only one sphere. So if you have doubt, because there are different things it said about the Nuk, here it says she's only one sphere. Bein parts of Ach, bein parts of Panim Shalachem, that's who they are. He's a Vok on the Ach and the Panim, and she is one sphere in the Ach and the Panim. So he said, going on. Now there's a little bait here. Let's just finish it, and we'll come back and look at the letter Bet. So that we all know that. But which part do you start first? So you start with the partzuf in the ach shalachem, because they get mochin the ach. The ach gets mochin the ach, and I guess the panim gets mochin the panim, as we will see. Let me see if just get a little bit better focus here. Here we go. As partzuf shalachem. So after you do the ach, they get mochin the ach. That comes into their vok and their single sphere of malchus. They get the partzuf in the panim shalachem. Ayederam shachas mochin the panim v'la'achar mekan na'asach zivugin. Now once this happened and you have the mochin the ach of the panim there, you can have a yichud. Let's go down and look at number bet. And it says like this: V'da, the fee mashon is boyer shazun kululim in parts of ach or parts of panim. So now understand that zun has both of these qualities. Azai ha'amor tomed b'divrei harav the zun omdim dechida ach ba'ach, who rak klape parts of ach. That's only talking about, when he says that, he's only talking about the parts of the ach. He said again, he said, well, then what are you talking about? You're talking about the parts of the ach. So that's it. So what are they going to get from Abba V'Ima? They're going to get partzufim v'ach. So let me read this slip. About partzufi hapanim, omdim kavar, they're already standing. Mitachilas panim b'panim, at the very beginning, they're always facing each other. That's the nature of the mochin. This takes a lot more, for me, understanding of how they're facing. What does it mean? What's the ponim? What's the ach? I'm not really sure, except that the Rishash comes along and he shows you what an acharayim looks like, or maybe the Rab does it. It shows like a ravua or something like that. It would be letters like that. But at any rate, here they're standing. He says, use the phrase they're standing ponim, but ponim, they're always like that. Rakshakol od shelo nesanknu parts of ach, but as long as the tikkun did not take place in the partsuf in the ach, nechshab shezun b'klalo, so that speaking about zun, only b'matzav shal ach ba'ach, the ach or tikkun parts of ach, b'nisira, that all takes place, ba parts of ach shal chanuk, that he is hadro in parts of ponim shalo, so the two parts, the front and the back, come together. Nechshab now, I want to read this again because as I think into it deeper, it seems a little bit, I mean, there's a lot more below this. He says, tikun parts of ach on the sira. So now the ach is all set up. So what does it mean? It means it's nasir, so it's not stuck onto zeranpen anymore. Ba parts of ach shalanuk, so this parts of, which is her acharayim, of the mischaveris in parts of a ponim shalo with her own ponim, the zera nechshal l'chazara zon ponim beponim. And when that I'm not sure how that takes place, but as at any rate, as when this takes place, it's considered to be they're coming together, being ponim beponim. Now let's go over here. I'm thinking as if we get to, let's see what time we got. We don't have enough time, so we'll just do a little bit. So the kaven amor la'el, like we said up above. Hamuchin kolula b'ma u'ben d'ma u'ma u'ben d'ben. Let's just say different combos. So he says nimsa shetzorach lachamshich lezun. So therefore, what has to happen is you have to extend, pour down into zun. Arba bechinas mochin. Now let's say this again. He says you have a ma u'ma. So I'm reading it wrong. Ma u ben de ma u ben de ben. So we know whatever you say is the actual combination before the chilaf or after the chilaf, and whatever it is, they're there. Nimsa shetzarach. So therefore, since you have all those components, which means that you have a right side of the middle, a left side, and a left side of the middle. Shetzarach lachamshik lezun arba bechinas mochin. You have to bring mochim ma u ben de ma de ach, ma u ben de ach, ma u ben de ma de ponim, ma u ben de ponim. So I think we'll stop right here before we get into this number. Gimel has a little bit to say about it, and this is really going over a little bit of. We haven't ever seen this stated out just like this, so I thought that's a good idea to review this. So anyway, thanks for calling, Rabbi. Have a wonderful day. Call to.